How do other young people benefit from your experience?
Yeah. So we touched on it earlier on when you mentioned about like the camp, is that whatever you're feeling, there's a good chance somebody else is feeling the same thing, but they're finding it difficult that you are to articulate how you're feeling. So I think it is important to find not necessarily a role model, but somebody that you feel you can open up to. Somebody, it could be a family member, it could be cousin, it could be an independent organization like a couple that we've mentioned, it could be a teacher, it could be some goddaughter. Just try and identify somebody that you think you could be able to open up to. And if you don't believe there's anybody in your immediate circle that can, obviously there are now, through the power of social media, a lot of really good support charities that you can contact in and stay anonymous. Because a bit of pride, if you're a bit concerned about people finding out, then just do it anonymously.
Yeah.
You don't have to reveal who you are, you don't have to give your name. You can do it anonymously. There's lots and lots of opportunities out there. And what I say to people is that there'll be other people going through what you're going through, people that have gone through what you've gone through. It's not easy to talk about because it's still perceived as being weak. Sort of the whole perception of, well, you've got to deal with it yourself. To a degree, you do have to, but there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to call on somebody to give you that support. And there's nothing wrong with asking for assistance. There's a famous saying, isn't there, that there's a picture in a doctor's waiting room of two pairs of feet in the sand, and at times there's only one pair of feet in the sand. And man turns to God and says, "Why is it, God, that when I was having my times in life and needed you weren't there?" And he goes, "God, so how do you know that?" He goes, "Because there's only one pair of feet." He goes, "That's not me deserting you, that's me carrying you." So life's not smooth and you will need to ask for help. And sometimes you'll ask somebody for help who can't give it.
Right.
That can be tough. It can be tough if somebody who is either uncomfortable or doesn't feel like they're able to give you that advice. But don't let that deter you, because there'll always be at least one person out there that is prepared to help. Because as you mentioned, there's a lot of us who've gone through a lot of tough times. And if you turn to me, I can call upon what I've gone through and I'd be happy to try and help and support somebody. That'd be either by just listening to them or guiding them or signposting, whatever I felt was the right thing. Is that there'll always be somebody that's prepared to listen to you. It might not be somebody that's obvious. It might not be somebody in your immediate circle. There are a lot of good people out there who give up their time to help people.
And that story you've obviously shared with us, and I've heard it before. Do you share that on any platforms? I mean, do you openly have discussions with young boys who are maybe considering? And you're right. I had a friend actually who he made the transition between secondary school and university. It's kind of these points, isn't it, when you're changing where nobody's going to know me. I can be a fresh start. And either they cut their hair or whatever they do. If you had someone young now, is your advice kind of what you said to your younger self, which is do the research, understand, make an informed decision, or do you go more down the you should be proud of who you are, and like what's kind of your tact?
I think it's a combination thing. I think it obviously depends. For me, it was the people haven't got my identity. My identity is my long hair, even though I didn't really appreciate it at the time. Identity. So if people are picking on that, either they're in the right or they're in the wrong. And I need to work out which one it is. Because I can't see why having long hair should be an issue for them.
Yeah. Why is it?
Why is it such an issue? Why is it such
physically threatening?
Or that they feel that they can dictate what I should do, so I fit in with them. So I think it is important, if you're being singled out, why are you being singled out, and to have a look, do a bit of research if you can, and to find if people have been in similar situations. The other thing, it's an interesting point you mentioned there, because when I moved on to university, because you talked about university there, when I came to university in the Midlands,
right,
I kept my hair and I was wearing the star.
Yeah.
Found the issue I was having was a lot of happening was saying to me, "You're sick, but you don't drink."
Right. Okay. So let's just put a pause on that. So now you've gone to Midlands, which is a very brown area.
Yeah.
So it should be like, oh man, there's gonna be loads of us here.
I'm like,
no problem.
This is
and now it's different. You're not a real Punjabi. Yeah?
It's the motherland.
You're having Bacardi.
You've come 200 miles from home, and you're going to touch. And it's like, again, that to me was like, I did my research. Like, no, look, they can do what They can live their
Yeah.
life they want to live.
Yeah.
And I think, come back to what you mentioned, it's about respect.
Mm.
To talk about the
No,
God,
no imposition.
yeah. If people don't like the way I live my life, or the way the Sikh live life, or anybody of any faith lives a life,
Mm.
not doing any harm by following my faith.
Yeah.
So what they're showing is a lack of respect, lack of understanding, a lack of knowledge, whatever you want to call it. So for me, I'm not going to spend too much energy worrying about what they're thinking.
Or trying to, and I guess as you get older, I've definitely found this, when you're a young person who has an affinity to your faith, you just automatically go into kind of defending it and trying to convince people of it, right?
Yes.
And then, I know we've talked about this Baz loads, and then as you get older, it's like,
Do what
dude,
you want.
you do what you want. I'm gonna
Yeah.
do what I want. As long as you don't impose on me, I'm definitely not gonna impose on you.
And that's
Yeah.
the thing.
Be happy, man. You don't want to believe in God, it's fine, man. Like,
Yeah.
there's no
Absolutely.
issue,
And I think that's the thing is what I'd say to any younger person is it's about respect. If you feel you're being shown lack of respect, is it really worth you worrying too much about what that person thinks? What's that for me is the big thing now is that as you mentioned, when I follow my faith, I do it with respect. I would never try to force it on anybody else. Well, this is how I see as a Sikh I live my life. Why don't you? I have to respect that. That's if they're of a different faith or the same faith, whichever, they have their own views, and I just got to respect that, even if I don't agree with it. As long as it's harming me or incurring into my life, then live and let live, as they say.
Yeah,
If you got like the kids who tell you have to cut your hair, and obviously that is an issue for me because they're trying to fundamentally change my identity. So my advice to the person would be is if that is happening, then that's where you need to stand up to it, and that's where you need to turn to somebody to support you. You shouldn't ever feel like you have to take that on alone, which is probably what I had to do a lot of. But then there wasn't many people to turn to. Like a lot of parents, my parents had a shop that they were fully invested in, so you just sort of felt, I don't want to really bother them too much. And that there's that mentality when you're growing up. You don't turn to your parents because your parents go to school and you're rich, and then it just becomes more of a bunga.
Yeah. All these things, man. I mean, growing up is a interesting thing to navigate. We look back at it now, we reflect, and you kind of almost think, I often think, I was like, how the hell did I get through and sort of, like, I'm kind of normal now.
Yeah.
When you have all these things in your head and you're thinking and you're trying to work out who you are. And
it must trying to grow up today in today's world. I think we'd all turn out very differently.
I think, because now obviously I think it's the whole trolling thing. Is
that's the bad side, but the good side is you've got more access. So you like in Baz, in your case, it's like, okay, you got young Singhs now who don't want to keep their hair, loads of people to talk to. But then like Indy saying, actually there's loads of stuff out there where it's like, nah, this is cool, I want to be like this,
See what I mean?
So even though there is more, it's actually I guess
more of everything.
Could be hard.
There's more, like I said, there's some very good, there's a lot more material out there, and it's about filtering it. And it's just, deciding what you're not going to read online or who you're going to follow. Pick the people you want to follow, that's fine. Just forget about the rest, because if you spend too much time trying to read everything online, you just never going to get on with your life, because there's too much. Everybody wants to shove their opinion down your throat. So for me, it's just sort of follow the right people, listen to the right things. And if you think, I don't like listening to the person, just switch it off.
That's it. The freedom to change, like you've said with your running.
It's the freedom.
Change the route. I'm gonna take that, Baza. I love that. If I want to go down this road, I'm gonna go down this road.
Yeah.
Like, literally, everything you've said in running applies to everything in life.
And I think that's probably why I do some things to do in life now. Because I think when I'm running, it sort of opens my mind. It's just, well, when I'm running, I'll take this risk, or when I'm running, I'm a bit more sensible about this sort of thing called even paced. I won't push too hard. That's how life should be. Why push too hard with something? Just take it easy, just relax.
I think you probably do the converse where something happens in life and you probably ask yourself the question, what would I do if I'm running? Yeah. That's the question you need to ask. and
we need to ask ourselves, what would Barry do?
What would Barry do?
You asked earlier on about what changes I've seen in myself.
Yeah.
So you're a lot more chill now. You don't seem to worry about anything. I've just realized there's no point. There's not worrying about too much about anything. Obviously, you have to work hard and you have certain things you do have to concentrate on, but